Well, we had quite some entrances at Lombardia Trophy this year. We had settling for an expensive stream because the other one hated my existence, and so much more. Join me as I dive into Lombardia Trophy. But first, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more figure skating related content. Let's start with the women's event, y'all. Wow. I did not fully expect this outcome. However, once I noticed Alysa LIU's boots were like 99.9% tape at this point, I figured the only way that she was going to medal at this point was if we could somehow sage her boots, which I doubt that happened. And man, were we in for some musical chair placements after the short program, which was already pretty tightly close. In first place here was Rion SUMIYOSHI. So this is her first challenger win, so that is so exciting for her. I really enjoyed her short program and thought that that dress was just beautiful. I did feel though like her combo was generously marked because it looked a little wonky, but overall it was just a delightful experience. And I didn't realize she brought back her free skate about plants. And I, for whatever reason, really enjoyed this program more than I did in the past. I liked it in the past, but for some odd reason, I thoroughly enjoyed it today. One thing that really stood out to me was just how fast she was during this program. I felt like the cameras were really struggling to keep up. And what's also really cool is she fully rotated, it seemed like, or maybe got caught under a bit, the quad toe. There was just a step out. She did not fall. And so it's been a while since we've seen a quad at a women's competition. And so overall, this is so exciting for her. And it helps her when it's already such a stacked field for Japanese women who were all clawing to get one of those 3 Olympic spots. In second place was Ami NAKAI. This was her senior debut, y'all. What an amazing debut for her. She attempted the triple axel in both of her programs. And I think in her short program, if she can land that triple axel, it's going to be really epic because I felt like that program had some intensity, and especially where she was trying the triple axel, it was just going to be on point. And I also think it's delightful parts of her program. I wanted to insert a clip of just the fun parts of her choreography that I enjoyed, but I'm afraid of getting like struck down because I can already see some of the Lombardia Trophy videos have been pulled off of YouTube. For her free skate, I felt like the cover of What a Wonderful World was just kind of meh. But however, this was still a beautiful program. And oh my gosh, y'all, she just floated on the ice in true Japanese skater fashion. And her dress, stunning. This is overall just so exciting. And I'm excited to see more of her. After this, I went back and watched some of her junior programs, and I was just like, wow, she, within a short time frame, has already, just matured and just ready to rumble with all the other Japanese skaters. And in third was Sara EVERHARDT. So she brought back her Reel Around the Sun short program, and there were some upgrades. So for instance, she started the program with a triple toe, and there was some interesting discussions about how despite making upgrades to this program, she only earned 69.16 total points compared to last year's 69.13, which did raise some concerns for underscoring. And so I'm really glad she brought this program back because I think she does really well with the high energy for this, and it's just really fun to watch. And so her free skate is to the theme of Pretty Fangs, which is a movie I have not watched yet. I did look up the description of it, but I feel like if I tell the description, it might ruin the movie, and I don't know what parts would be a spoiler. I think I need to watch this program again to see how I feel about it. It does have some really interesting moves in it, which I appreciate. And I also do think this is a really good vehicle for her because she does seem to be able to just channel this character real well. I did listen in a recent interview of her on Paulina Edmonds' podcast where she mentioned that her team always recommends that she plays a character, and I do think she really does well with channeling a character. And so kudos to her. This is her second time, I think, at Lombardia Trophy, where she ends up placing higher than the world medalist at that point. And in fourth place was Alysa LIU. This just wasn't her weekend since her boots are basically tape at this point. They're just 100% tape. Okay, I know the percentage I keep saying goes up. They're not really that much, but they're pretty much tape. And she said in an interview at some point that she thought about withdrawing. I think this was with Golden Skate, but she wanted to give it a try, and also that she wanted to see Italy. And I do know for her short program, she was apparently wearing one new and one old boot. And Ilia's dad, Roman, also at one point ended up fixing her boot. All this sounds frightening. She skated her short program again to Levay, and it seems like this is the sequel to last season's program. She said in an interview with the Golden Skate that she is wanting to bring this artist to everyone's attention through the Olympics, and so that is just really neat. And also, she debuted a new dress. It's similar to last year's dress. At first, I felt like I didn't like it as much, but then when you watch it move, it is really beautiful. And for this overall program, it's hard because I really loved last year's program so much. And so I rewatched it again and decided that I really do love this one too. And I think as the season goes on, it's going to be magic. And she debuted her triple Lutz triple loop as a backloaded combo, and though there was a step out, it was a debut, and I imagine this will be an epic for her, like score-wise, once she perfects it and her boots are not trying to kill her. Her free skate to Lady Gaga, it wasn't the best showing, but I knew once I saw kind of how tentative she looked, this wasn't going to be the best showing for her. And it's amazing that she was able to do things in the condition that her boots were in, so I'm not too worried about her considering this is her first competition of the season. Boots are dying. I think actually this has the potential to make a huge moment, like to bring down the arena at Nationals and the Olympics. I think if she could just kind of maybe polish up those music cuts a bit, this is going to be a moment, especially when she can give it her all. And I also really liked her costume, and I feel like that may be polarizing, but I really enjoyed it. And so she also said in a Golden Skate interview that they're not quite finished with the dresses yet. So I'm intrigued to see how they will turn out in the end. And so I'm going to link to that really good interview with Golden Skate and Alyssa so you can get some more info. In 5th place was Lauren Naki GUTMANN. And so this was an amazing outing for her. And I felt like she was a little bit robbed. Like her short program was perfection. But what really stole the show for me was her Jaws shark themed free skate. This program is 100% perfect for her, and I think it's actually one of my favorite free skates so far this season. It's unique, but it's not like over the top and gimmicky. In fact, it's also pretty much told me like I may planes, trains, and automobiles to skate America to see this live. Yeah, she made some minor mistakes, but overall, this is amazing, and it's the early season. Also, she has very unique spins, and I know I say this all the time, but I feel like it always takes me off guard when I notice how interesting her spins are. And I've heard Tara and Johnny talk about her skating skills before in a negative light. However, I feel like she has these really beautiful edges, so I don't know what they're talking about or if I hallucinated that. In 6th place was Seoyoung KIM. Her short program was spectacular and really sold me. However, her jump technique has me worried a bit. She kind of does that lean forward thing that other skater may do. I felt like though she could have been placed higher, and especially in the PCS area. And y'all, she had to wait like 5,000 years for the scores because apparently there was a technical glitch or whatever. Her free skate wasn't as successful and it brought me out of her performance a bit, but I do think she still has the potential. And it is a shame there is only 2 spots for Korean women this year at the Olympics. I also wanted to talk about Rino MATSUIKE. Jumps were not her friend this weekend, and she came in 8th place. Regardless, her programs were breathtaking. Like, she brought back last year's free skate and then condensed it for a short program. And it's just breathtaking. Like, those running edges throughout that program, fantastic. And her free skate to the Nutcracker was also stunning. And it's just like one of those few times that where mistakes happen in a program and it really doesn't prevent me from enjoying it. What prevents me is her PCS should be higher to the point where we should just start calling the cops, y'all. But that's just my opinion. I can't believe we live in a world where this may not get to be seen at the Olympics. Josefin came in 11th place here. I just want to briefly talk about how I can't help but enjoy her and to find her to be just this breath of fresh air despite mistakes in her jumps. And in 12th place was Katia. So this placement, though, was not without controversy as her coach took it to social media to say she was underscored. He said, "Today I feel pain, seeing my athlete so down and walk away with 150 points. I see her every day giving everything. The work, the struggle, the sacrifices. This weekend, she delivered 2 of her best performances in 2 years. She did not deserve this. I hate my job and I hate this day. See you tomorrow for a better day. And then he tagged her in it and said, heads up, we go again, harder than ever. I think, though, what she tends to do is struggle with under rotations and her levels. And it's interesting because there for a while, she seemed to be doing really well. And just over the years, fully rotating has been a struggle for her. She even ended up with an under rotation on her Euler in her free skate. And I say this as someone who hurts her a lot. I do understand, though, it could be likely frustrating for her to get these calls and maybe other skaters are not getting these calls. But overall, it's very, I hate to say this, obvious in her programs. So I enjoyed her short program because I think it's a really mature program for her and it shows how versatile she can be. And it was just beautiful despite the jump mistakes. Her free skate, though, I'm mixed about. Like, there's just so many music cuts. And I feel like maybe she could have stayed with like the happy, like diamonds are a girl's best friend. Because it seemed to be a really good fit for her. But then she went on to Moulin Rouge. She did end up kind of selling it to me, though. Overall, though, I enjoy her, but it's also so hard to watch her in a kiss and cry because I know I'm going to see disappointment. And I can only imagine how she feels. So let's move on to the men then. Here are the men's winners. There was definitely menning in the final group for the free skate. Like, let me tell you, I about choked on my quiche. Well, actually, it wasn't a quiche, but whatever it was. About choked on the pie. Because here we were living large, everyone was being fairly unmenned, and then menning happened. And what was hilarious is my husband looked at me and said, "What does menning mean?" And I realized, yeah, I haven't told him what it really means. All right, so Ilia was a no surprise winner here. I really like his short program, and I think it's unique, and I think it's very effective at getting people to talk about all the unique acrobatic parts of his program. He also looked really calm here and at ease. So one of my favorite things is when he does like the back crossovers into his triple axel. He also has just lots of interesting transitions in this program. And he managed to do a backflip literally out of nowhere. And I believe it's part of his step sequence. And he just kind of weaved it in without disrupting anything. And then at one point he did this like breakdance looking move. Oh, and I think it was after this program or before, like he just casually dropped to the golden skate that like he did Quince over the summer. Like real casually dropped it. For his free skate, I need to watch it again. So the audio in my stream kind of made it difficult to really be in tune with his voiceovers. I also think it's one of those programs where I want to see it when he's in a costume, better lighting, and everything. He made some uncharacteristic mistakes, but it's really not that serious at this point. I really enjoyed, y'all, that raspberry twisto transition. I think it was during a combo spin. Like, that is going to blow the roof off the building at Nationals. And then he did that one-footed backflip. There's, like, minimal setup. And then, like, went on to the next thing. And then I think the knee slide without hands is going to be epic as the season goes on. Because you could see he was almost unsure of himself during it. So I think overall, like, the more I talk about it, the more I think I like it. Because I do see the buildup. I just really want to see it at its full potential. And he said in an interview at the Golden Skate that he was actually a little bit nervous ahead of this competition, but it felt nice going in to show his programs. He also said that his own free skate is really personal to him. And he also hopes for his costumes to be ready by the Grand Prix. So hopefully everyone can calm down that he was wearing his practice gear. So Yuma came in second place here. Oh my God, his free skate. I know I'm jumping ahead. But y'all, this has the potential for an Olympic moment. Like the different spread eagles on varying edges and the Ina Bauer, like everything. I watched this and was just speechless. What an amazing program. Oh, and then like that quad Salchow in the beginning, that was just so effortless, amazing. And I loved his reaction to his score. It made me so happy. His short program was also wonderful and fun. However, I think those of us who all watched it all had a collective gasp or heart attack over his foot cramp because he had recently talked about in an interview that his ankle injury was acting up. I was so worried that he was getting ready to skate over and say that he had to discontinue. But then he managed to pull a triple axel off. Like, that was just wild. He also won an award, and I don't know what the award was. Like, I was only part of the way tuning in at this point, waiting for the medal ceremony. So if anyone knows what that award was, please tell me. And my stream is doing the very perfect thing by not letting me rewind today's stream. So Yuma said in an interview after the free skate, and this was with the golden skate again, that this was a relief for him because this was the most jumps that he's been able to perform in a run through from also his summer competitions. And he's hoping that he's able to maximize his layouts by the Grand Prix. In third place was Nikolaj. What's precious is he said in an interview with Golden Skate afterwards, he did not expect a medal here and that he was already planning his afternoon because it was such a stacked field. And so that's just precious to me. So both of his programs were amazing. And his free skate, though, really stood out to me because there had been such many in that final group up to that point, and he only made like a minor error. He also does like dramatic programs really well, and I felt like he was on point for the free skate. What made me laugh a little bit and worry for his existence is he told the Golden Skate afterwards that Barbara was angry with him for leaving out some of his choreography. And so his short program is also fantastic, and I feel like this was very powerful and that this is going to just bring down the house at an Italian Olympics. And I just love the buildup in this program, and he just puts so much power in his step sequence with the music. Also has a very effective dramatic way to die at the end. Shun came in fourth place here with his Firebird program really being the skate of his life, and I just felt like I had to shout it out that it was one of the best skates that I've seen from him in a long time. Adam saw him fall, came in fifth place. This really wasn't the best outing for him, and I read somewhere that he was sick this weekend. I don't think he said it in an interview. I believe someone had mentioned it. I think it was on Reddit that he had to go through a lot of tissues during practice, so I don't know for sure. His short program, the costume was a choice. It looked like almost like a less demented, like Mr. Slim Body or whatever it's called, or kind of like Plashinko's sex bomb costume, but like toned down a bit. It just made it really difficult to see his lines. And so I think I'm going to really like his short program when it's clean. There just was so many mistakes. He still sold me on it despite the mistakes and the suspect costume. His free skate though, this has the potential to be one of the best programs. Like, I know I'm going to love it. It honestly feels like it could be on the same level of his 2023-2024 free skate. Like, love it. He did struggle with most of the quads. It looks like he had 5 quads planned, just they were rough. Hopefully this means that he's going to like peak at the right time, or maybe they need to reflect on toning down the quads a bit. Like, I really feel like if he could go clean, especially in his free skate, he could really be on the Olympic podium. Overall, though, like Ben Wall totally crafted 2 programs for him that really suit him. And Cal came in at 6th place. He was so close to medaling. Like, his short program, he did really well, but then he made like some wonky mistakes in his samurai like free skate. But overall, though, I really think if he can put on 2 great performances, we're going to continue to see him succeed throughout the season. And in 9th place was Max. And what broke my heart, like as someone who has recently lost a father, is I knew instantly when he got in ice that this was the first time he's been in a competition without his father waiting for him at the boards, or at least the potential that that could be an option. And I just wonder like how much he even thought about that, or that could have been weighing on him, or could have been something that he had to just not think about in the moment. Both of his performances were beautiful. So I saw his short program at the Summer Sizzler. Loved it there. Loved it here when I watched it. Even though he singled the axle here, it still didn't bring me out of the program too much. And his free skate was so beautiful despite the errors. And you can tell he was disappointed. But hopefully this means that he's like in a peak later on in the season. And Matteo, he came in 11th place. Man, did my heart break for him. So he did so well in the short program and put on a clean performance. But then the free, like there were some falls and some pop jumps. And at one point I was like, oh my God, his hip. Hopefully he's going to bounce back because I need him and Nicola to make it to the Olympics as the Italian men. And now on for the pairs event. Sara and Nicola came in first place. Their short program is an amazing fit for them. And they seem to really do well with powerful, like passionate programs. They skated it clean and they were just on point. Like I felt like everything fit with the accents of the music. And there's this one point where like their entrance was like a little cartwheel into their death spiral. Like that was really neat. And I feel like their free skate is going to be something that's just going to blow the roof off in Italy and at the Olympics. Though I do prefer them with more powerful programs. They did well here, except their lift was kind of scary towards the end. And they said in an interview with the Golden Skate that they're not too worried about it because this isn't something that they've done before and they don't think it's going to be a problem. And in second place was Rebecca and Filippo, both teams from Italy, forgot to mention it. So they made quite a bit of mistakes in their programs. One thing that I did notice for them, compared to the other pairs teams that I've watched, they seem to have it to where like their elements and their lifts do not look as smooth and effortless as other pairs. Like you can see kind of the struggle, like when they're coming in and out of, especially lifts, it looks like. Their short program feels more romantic and lyrical than I'm used to, I feel like, seeing with them, but they did fine with it if they kind of get those elements under control. Their free skate, though, seems more on par with their usual style, and I think that is a good vehicle with them if they can just get some of those levels improved and the jumps as well. And in third place was Anna and Martin. They also didn't have the best jumps in their program, but again, it's early in the season. This is actually maybe one of the first times that I've watched them, and I'm trying to get ISU's website to just freaking work for me, and it's not. But I enjoyed this debut to me. And yep, they are a new team. So they got together in 2024-2025 season. So that's really neat. Like they did really well for a team that is so new with one another. And so for ice dance, if I would have known that my streams would not let me go back in time and watch it better, like for some odd reason today's stream just like no, and I tried to like go back for it just wasn't meant to be. So I apologize. This will not be as thorough. So Paint and Buy ended up in first place from America. So their rhythm dance is to AC/DC, which I felt like kind of did help break up a lot of the same music that we're seeing. And I felt like they did well in this. Just from, just objectively looking at it from someone who is not an ice dance guru. And their free dance, I really enjoyed it. The Lion King, I felt like it had this epic build up throughout it. Now, I actually thought Ekaterina and Daniel were going to end up winning. They actually ended up moving to second place. They also had an AC/DC rhythm dance, which again was still a welcome change. For their free dance, I really enjoyed it and felt like it was a really good vehicle for them. However, they did lose a lot of levels. In fact, her twizzles were a level 1 at some point, I believe. And what's interesting is someone on Reddit pointed out that their choreographic spin wasn't on their protocol, despite it happening at the beginning of the dance, and was trying to go back and watch it. And that's how I discovered that my streams hate me rewinding, despite me spending money on it. So overall, it's concerning that they have, lost a lot of levels. Of course, it's early in the season, but I feel like, unfortunately, with ice dance, things are just kind of like where it is a momentum and you have to kind of keep the momentum. And Katerina and Dimitri from America came in third place here. And they did fairly well here, though they did end up losing points for the lack of a hold in their rhythm dance, but overall a good outing for them. And I wish I could go back and watch their free dance again. It's one of those things where I watched the dance programs knowing I was going to go back and kind of take notes afterwards because I really just wanted to enjoy them first. But alas, for some odd reason, it is cursed. Like it just does not let me rewind properly. And these programs are not posted like other programs, so unfortunately had to rely on memory. All right, y'all. It has been such an exciting early season, and oh my gosh, Chinese Nebelhorn is next week, and rumor has it, because Ted and Mark said they'll be commentating on that this will likely be on ISU's YouTube. I don't know yet if some of us will have the VPN. Who knows? But I'm so excited, y'all. Tune in next time, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more figure skating related content.